Thank you, Megan, the entire staff of Roof Boutique, Thrive, for inviting me today. I really appreciate you being here. I'm honored to be in your presence. My name is Damon Carr. As you mentioned, I'm a money coach, a tax professional, and a personal finance columnist. I was born and raised in Youngstown, Ohio. I'm a graduate of VRAN High School. Any other graduates from VRAN High School here? A couple. Those of us that graduated from RAN take a lot of pride in RAN. When we say RAN, we put a little bass in our voice. VRAN High School. I currently reside in Pittsburgh, PA. Normally, when I speak, I'm asked to speak on the subject of personal finances. As a writer, I've written countless articles on personal finance. I generally turn my various articles into speeches. To give you an idea of some of my articles and some of my speeches, I'm going to give you the title of some of my columns. 8 surefire steps you need to take to get a grip on your money. What's the best way to pay off your debt? How can you be bored and broke? Are you balling out of control or are you spending out of control? Too much money left at the end of your money? Age 40 and over, you have 0 F-ups left to give. Are you materially rich or cash poor? How not to go broke gambling. How to invest with confidence. How do you stretch a dollar? Money doesn't come with instructions. You have to get out of dumb before you're able to get out of debt. Can you call it a rapid refund when it's 365 days late? Get your financial house in order first, then seek home ownership. What's the best thing you can do for poor people? I'm going to answer that one. The best thing you can do for poor people is not be one of them. Megan and I actually co-wrote an article together. It was called Mind Over Money. In that article, we've concluded that a mind is a terrible thing to waste, so is money. As you can see from the various titles of my articles, I'm very direct. I keep it 100. I want you to understand that some of my views are different from the norm. Let me give you an example. You guys familiar with the R&B group Jodeci? They had this song. The song went like this. Take my money, my house and my car. I don't sing that part. Don't make sense to me. This talk is going to be a little different. Megan wanted me to pull back the curtain and sort of unveil how I went from being broke to actually having a decent living. Although I'm going to use my life experiences to make various points, I want you to use my life as a lesson for yourself, your children, and your loved ones. My topic today is called Ashy to Classy. What is ashy to classy? Ashy to classy is a phrase made popular by the late great rapper Biggie Smalls. Ashy to classy means going from being broke and not being able to afford nice things to earning a decent living and maintaining a decent standard of living for you and your family. I'm going to share the mindset and action steps it took me, this little project boy, from going from a household that made approximately $8,000 a year from birth till I was 19 years old, to get to a point where I was earning $8,000 to broker one deal. Now, I'm from Youngstown. You know, when you talk to a group from Youngstown, Girard, Liberty, et cetera, you got to come with receipts. I got the receipts. These are copies of checks where deals I brokered earning upwards of $8,000. Here, you guys can pass them around. Here you go. Just to let you know, say fluff. I'm being honest with you. And I'm not trying to impress you with the checks. I'm just trying to impress upon you that if you put your mind to it, you can do pretty much anything you want to do. Now, coming up in the impoverished community, I know what it's like to be poor. I know what it's like to have the light bills cut off. I know what it's like to have the gas cut off. I know what it's like not to know where your next meal is coming from. I know what it's like the community that's plagued with drugs and gun violence. Several friends and family members who became drug dealers and or drug addicts. I have several friends and family members who have spent countless time in jail. Somehow, some way, I navigated around those obstacles. The question is how, and that's what Megan wanted me to talk about. The first thing is desire. Desire. If you're taking notes, you might want to write that down. Desire. I desired more. I didn't know what I wanted to be when I grew up, but I knew what I didn't want to be. I didn't want to get involved in drugs and risk going to jail, getting killed, or becoming a drug addict. Plus, I like women. I didn't want to be in a jail or in a cage with a whole bunch of men all day for years or months to come. 78% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck. 78%. Paycheck to paycheck. Some people are living paycheck to Monday. Paid on Friday, broke on Monday. I grew up with a mom who was on a fixed income. She got paid once a month. We got paid the first of the month. By the fifth of the month, we were broke. From the fifth of the month on forward, we living with too much money left in our money. That was hard. Again, I didn't know what I wanted to be, but I did know I want to live like that. I didn't want to wait a whole month to get a check. So again, desire. I wanted more for myself and my family. The next thing is confidence. I believed in me. If you don't believe in yourself, nobody will. I played basketball when I was in middle school and high school. Basketball saved me. It was a healthy distraction. In the words of Biggie Smalls, and referencing Biggie again, either you're slinging crack rock or you got a wicked jump shot. I remember a friend of mine and I were hanging out on the street corner. We were going to be fronted to sell marijuana. Somehow, some way, my basketball coach came on the street corner and picked me up to go to a scrimmage. I never sold marijuana. My friend got marijuana. He started selling marijuana. Eventually, he graduated to selling cocaine. I never sold drugs at all. Let's fast forward. My friend was robbed and murdered by the time he was 21. I'm here telling you this story. Basketball gave me goals, dreams, and discipline. Most importantly, basketball gave me confidence. It taught me that I can do or be anything I wanted to be as long as I worked hard and dedicated myself to it. I wasn't born a good basketball player. I practiced every day. I worked at it. Over time, I became good. Believing in yourself and working hard on your craft is how you succeed at anything. The next thing is education. In order to increase your earning potential, you have to increase your knowledge or your know-how. Your know-how is your skill. The more specialized your knowledge or skill, the higher your earning potential. After I graduated from high school, I went to a business school where I earned a degree in business administration. At this point in life, I still had no idea what I wanted to be when I grow up. I recall something Mrs. Furtado, my 8th grade math teacher, told me when I was in 8th grade. She said, "You're good at math. You're going to be a banker one day." My first full-time job after I graduated with my degree was a corporate loan specialist at Mellon Bank. Having a higher education helped me to get my foot in the door at one of the largest banks in the world. Mrs. Furtado was right. I became a banker, and I was good at it. Mama, I made it. I worked in this position for 5 years. I got a couple of promotions. I managed accounts of some of these super large companies. I was responsible for transacting millions of dollars for these companies. It was there that I thought to myself, until I get some serious money, I'm going to learn everything I can about money. So I started reading all these books on personal finances and just money in general. I eventually left that company and started working for a mortgage company as a loan officer, helping people buy homes and refinance their mortgage. I was good at it. I was so good, in fact, that I started my own company, Ace Financial. You see the aces on my neck. This is my company's logo, Ace Financial. When you're in business for yourself, the hardest thing for any business is to consistently get leads, get people to patronize your business, buy your services, buy your products. You know, most small companies rely on referral sources to get business. And so in the mortgage business, we created relationships with realtors, accountants, financial planners, home improvement contractors, collection companies, to refer us clients who may be in the market for a mortgage. I had a small problem with that. I'm not good at brown nosing. These people, you had to whine and dine, laugh at their jokes in order for them to see your business. I wasn't good at that. I don't kiss butt. So what I had to figure out, how do I cut off the middleman? So what I did was, I went to the Dosey Academy of Real Estate, became a licensed real estate agent. I went to H&R Block Tax School, became a tax professional. I went to the American College, became a financial planner. So instead of going chasing them for business, I just created what they were doing already. And I started offering all these different services. Now, things were going great. As you can see from the checks, things were going great up until 2006 when we had the mortgage meltdown. If you guys remember that time. During that time, I mean, nobody can get a mortgage. And although at the time I was offering mortgage origination services, tax preparation services, and financial planning, the mortgage part of my business was the most profitable division. Now, one day a local newspaper had heard about me and they wanted to write a story on me. And it was around this time I was reading a book on how to attract more business. And in this book, I read this statement. It said that if you want to become an expert, you have to read. I mean, who don't want to become an expert? And I'm already reading everything I can imagine on personal finance and money. I'm a licensed mortgage broker, I'm a licensed realtor, I'm a financial planner, I'm a tax preparation or tax preparer. You know, so like, why not? I want to become an expert. And the next line said, if you want to become known as an expert, you have to write. I'm like, write? Now I'm a graduate of D. Rand High School. Rand isn't known for producing literary scholars. So I was a little nervous about the writing piece, but I'm confident. I learned that if you put your mind to anything and you work hard at it, you can become that. You know, so I approached the newspaper editor and I said, hey, listen, would you mind if I write some financial articles? He said, send me some of your material, let me see what you can do. That was in 2002. It's 2023. I'm still writing. Mama, I made it. Today, you can see me in 5 markets. I'm in Pittsburgh, I'm in Chicago, I'm in Michigan, I'm in Atlanta. One other one I forget right now is income, okay? When you mention the word budget, people tend to tense up a little bit. People tend to think that a budget confines and restricts you from doing what you want to do. I'll admit, when you're talking about money, you are confined and restricted, but it has nothing to do with the budget. What confines and restricts you as it relates to money is your income. If you want to spend more, save more, have more, invest more without changing your lifestyle, you simply need to earn more. And as I pointed out earlier, the way you earn more is to continue to increase your knowledge and your know-how to make yourself more marketable. Our parents tell us money doesn't grow on trees. But where does it come from? Anybody know? Where does money come from? There you go. My uncle said, work. Hardest man I know, actually. Work creates money. Your ability to work is your number one asset. That makes your income your most powerful wealth building tool. As I stated, again, knowledge and know-how is how you increase your earning potential. I recall another book that I read years ago. The author in this particular book said, every time the mailman comes to his house, he leaves a bill for him. Anybody relate to that? Every time the mailman comes, he drops off a bill? You guys can relate? Well, he made it a goal. He said, every time the mailman comes, he wants them to leave a check for him. That was before direct deposit, okay? So I'm reading this, I'm like, that's not a bad idea. I didn't live the life where I'm waiting month to month. I'd like to have a check every time the mailman comes. Now, the longest I ever went getting a check every day in the mail was 7 days. Boy, those 7 days I was doing a happy dance. I was like, yeah, I got some money. It was a good time.
But then he goes, hey, you want to spend it instead of being practical.
But how do you get to a point where you're getting multiple checks like that? And the way you do that is by creating multiple streams of income. And I had 2 experiences that kind of changed my direction in terms of how you generate money. The first experience, I told you about the mortgage company that I worked at. Things were going extremely well up until 2006. It got so bad that I had to call myself, make sure the phone was working. I mean, it's just no business coming in. And when you're self-employed, if you're not getting business deals, you're not getting an income. So 2006 when the market changed, I basically from 2006 to 2008, I lived off my savings. So the good thing is I was saving some of the money. But in 2008, I went back to corporate America. I went to work at Bank of America working as a negotiator. It took about 2 years, but I eventually got promoted to management. Now, I was there up until about 2015. And what happened in that environment, they laid off the entire company. Everybody had to go. So you'll think you got a corporate job, you got benefits, you got a corner office, everything is great. Not so much. Again, got laid off. So the one thing that was consistent during both those phases where I had an income interruption was this. The bills kept coming in. So I said, you know what? I don't like that. So I started believing in the concept that multiple streams of income is not a luxury. It's a necessity. So nowadays, I have 6 sources of income. I do financial planning, I do taxes, I do speaking. I still have a corporate job. I'm an analyst for a large bank in Pittsburgh. I do that as well. At night, I also Uber. I do Uber Eats. Now, here's the cool thing about Uber Eats. Well, I'm also trying to be an expert. So I gotta carve out time to do my research on a regular basis. While I'm doing Uber Eats at night from 7 to 11, I have podcasts and audiobooks. So I'm getting the information that I need to teach my clients how to better manage money. So basically we call that Automobile University. I'm increasing my knowledge so that I can be of more service to my clients. And doing Uber Eats, I was just telling my son just this morning, I said, last week I made $90 on Uber Eats. He was like, man, that's pretty cool. I got to start doing that a little bit more. And out of all the things that I do, this is interesting. Here's my son-in-law, and I have 2 other sons. Out of all the things that I do in life, all these guys have a side hustle doing Uber Eats, Grubhubs, and things of that nature. All of them making a decent living. So I didn't know Uber Eats would be the thing they would want to follow. But as my son said earlier, Dad, it's easy money. Why not go get it? And here's what's interesting. We talk about millionaires. We look at millionaires. Did you know that the average millionaire has 7 sources of income? 7 sources. I have 6. That means I'm underemployed. I need to get another job. So some of these that I'm working on what these guys are doing right now, which is creating a podcast, creating a social media presence, so I can start generating money from that. That'll be my 7th stream of income. Also going to start writing books and things of that nature, selling just merchandise, hoodies and t-shirts, things of that nature. But again, multiple streams of income is really a blessing. I have a client here. I just noticed you were here. She's a client, and I want to say this without putting too much of business out there. But she was looking for ways to increase her income, and I started telling her about the multiple streams of income. She employed that tactic in her life, and last I heard, she got herself a new dining room set, got herself a new new living room set. She paid off her car. Give her a hand. Car's paid off. So I'm gonna throw this at you. What do you think about multiple streams of income? It's a necessity. Thank you. Now, some people often say, what you're doing all these different jobs, what do you make time for your wife and your family? Well, my wife and I both work from home. So we see each other on a regular basis. Lunchtime is fun time. Wink, wink. Every day at lunch, I take a nap. We're old now. Now, here's an unfortunate fact of life. Very unfortunate. Regardless of what your goals are in life, getting there is hard. It's very hard to accomplish your goals. No question about that. But what's even harder is maintaining that status. Once you get there is one thing. Now you got to maintain it. Let me give you an example. My daughter had 2 of her kids in the audience. It was fun making those babies, wasn't it? It ain't so fun taking care of them. Some of you guys may be homeowners. It was fun. It was nice to become a homeowner, right? But maintaining that property, paying the taxes on the property, just doing the upkeep on the property, it's hard. So maintenance is really the real grind. My first 4 pillars was dealing with, how to go from ashy to classy. The next pillars I want to talk about is how do you stay in that? How do you maintain that? Okay? I want to share a story with you. I read this in the paper about 10 years ago. It's a lady by the name of Marilyn Devine. It's a Pittsburgh story. I wrote about it. The lady, the article was titled, How to Avoid Robbing a Bank at the Ripe Old Age of 76. I'm reading this paper, right, and it shares a story about this lady who walked up to the teller holding a gun and said, give me all your money. And as I'm reading this story, I'll be honest with you, I didn't know whether to laugh or cry. I'm going to be honest. I laughed. Let me explain why. Not at the seriousness of the situation, but I just couldn't imagine a 76-year-old lady wobbling down the aisle, toting a gun, saying, this is your stick up. Give me your money. But as the story unfolded, the question becomes, what would make a 76-year-old lady hold up a bank at gunpoint? The answer, broke, busted, and disgusted, can't be trusted. Another way of saying that, broke, hopeless, and desperate. The backstory is she had a son who was struggling financially. The son went to her for some help. She didn't have any money to help him. He basically said, if he don't get this money, he's going to commit suicide. And in order to help her son to avoid suicide, this lady held up a bank. Now, you would think that 76 years old, we call those the golden years. You're supposed to be flush with money. Not so much the case. So again, some of the principles I want to talk about is going to help you avoid robbing the bank at the ripe old age of 76. Okay? The first thing is, Maggie, you raise your hand. Please don't do that. The first thing is wiggle room. Okay? Nowadays the kids are wearing skinny jeans, right? What does a man wearing skinny jeans in a tight budget have in common? No wiggle room. It's hard to produce when the tools are restricted, right?
Yeah.
As I mentioned before, she said, right? As I mentioned before, your income is your most powerful wealth building tool. So if all your money going out in terms of expenses, it's hard to make it. So the first step in my 8 surefire steps you need to take to get a grip on your money is to create some wiggle room in your budget. And the recommendation is, at a minimum, you want to free up at least 10% of your household income. Just give you an example. Let's say that your household monthly income is $5,000 a month. First step, at a minimum, you want to free up $500 a month. The more you can free up, the better. The reason why she was able to buy her couch and dining room set and pay off her car is because she increased her wiggle room, her margin between her income and expenses, exponentially. So that's the first step, wiggle room. Spending. I have some advice when it comes to spending. At your wage. Too often we live above our means. When you're at your wage, you're living within your means. Stop trying to impress people. A lot of things that we do in life, we do it to get a compliment. You go boy, you go girl. It's a nice car, nice house, nice shoes. The question I have before you is this. How much have you paid for a compliment? It ain't worth it, is it? There are 4 things you can do with money. You can spend it. We all know how to do that. You can save it. You can invest it. You can give it away, or you can waste it. Most people easily blow through $10,000 a year on miscellaneous spending.
Some of them go through it in a day.
And I'm about to break that down for you, so good segue. If you spend just $27.50 a day, $27.50 a day on miscellaneous spending, that amounts to $10,000 a year. Anybody have a calculator handy? Do the math with me. I'll go to my client. Can you pull out your phone real quick? $27.50 a day. That's what you play in numbers, yes. $27. $27.50 a day times 365 days in a year. What does that equal? It's $10,000 you blow through on miscellaneous spending. So I'm about to get in your business. Cigarettes, alcohol, weed, lottery, bingo, dining out. Now, dining out was my budget buster. I got the gut to prove it. Dining out, $27.50 a day, blown easily. Okay. So if you want to increase the wiggle room in your budget, know that You're paying high prices for your vices. You know, things that we're doing that we know are bad with money, we call those vices. And me dining out was a problem. And I haven't been dining out. I lost maybe like 5 pounds. I'm proud of that 5 pounds. But dining out saved me money. It's also helping my waistline a little bit. So see me in about a year. I hope to be a little slimmer. Saving money is a cornerstone of sound money management. Saving money is how you build your money muscles. Saving money is how you create financial stability, financial security, financial independence, and financial peace. I want to challenge all you guys today to a savings challenge, okay? If you get paid once a month, I'm going to ask that you decide on a dollar amount. It could be $5, it could be $10, it could be $100. Whatever that number is, I want you to say, you know what? From this day forward, every time I get paid, I want to set aside $5 and put it in an envelope. I want to take that envelope and put it in the shoebox, okay? I had another client who did this challenge, and she decided to do $100 a week. She was paid every week, something to that effect. Long story short, she did it at the beginning of the year in January. And it was last year, you know, because at first she told me about the challenge, I wasn't impressed. I'm like, oh, it's a good thing you're saving, good job. But then she sent me a picture. It was a pile of money stacked up, $100 on top of $100. And I said, how much is that? $5,200 she had saved. Every paycheck, just setting aside $100 a paycheck. And again, pick your number. It could be $25, it could be $10, it could be whatever you want it to be. But pick it, because that's how you increase your saving muscles. And, you know, basically one of the things that she decided to do with that money was take her a vacation. So she had a fun vacation. And that's how you build financial stability. So you want to exercise your saving muscles, okay? Investing. Now, saving money is how you build financial stability. Investing money is how you build wealth. You know, investing is a long-term game. We were just talking about that a second ago. Right now, the market is down. Everybody's portfolio is down. Let me ask you guys a question. iPhone, Apple iPhone. If Apple, that phone right there cost me about $1,500 my son is holding. If that phone was on sale for $500, would you buy it? Anybody? I'm going to buy it. If I can get a $1,500 phone for $500, I'm going to buy it. Well, we're concerned about the stock market right now. Right now, Apple stock is being sold at a discount. You'll buy the product, but not the stock. The trick when it comes to investing is buy low, sell high, right? Like right now, the stock market is basically on sale. You know, we talked about this thing that we call it dollar cost averaging. And dollar cost averaging is you guys have a 401k plan with your job. Every pay, they take out money out of your paycheck for your investments. That's called dollar cost averaging. Doesn't matter what the market is doing. Every paycheck, they take money out for your investment. That's dollar cost averaging. And what dollar cost averaging does is it balances out your investments. When the market is low like it is right now, you're buying more shares. When the market is high, you're buying a lot less shares. It's called dollar cost averaging. I want to share a story with you by a guy by the name of Earl. One of the most touching stories that I heard. Now, Earl is a parking attendant. He never made more than $12 an hour. Never. He never made more than $20,000 in a year. Parking attendant. He has 3 kids. Put them all through private school. They're all doing well now. Let's go 30 years later. Earl has a paid-for house. He has no debt. And he has an investment portfolio that's worth about $500,000. How in the hell did Earl make it $12 an hour, $20,000 a year, amass that wealth? Well, he was a parking attendant at a district that was a financial market. The people cars he was parking were stockbrokers. So Earl was picking their brain. He was trying to learn, you know, hey, how you guys get all this? And they were teaching him. And Earl employed some of the teachings. He began to invest. He began to learn about investing. And 30 years later, again, Earl has $500,000 investable assets. Plus, he has a paid-for house. Plus, he has no debt. Who wants to be like Earl? Raise your hand. If Earl can do it on $12 an hour, $20,000 a year, we all can do it. I see this young man over here, the other young man back there. Listen, guys, my children, are you listening to me? You guys are young. You got a good 30 years before retirement or more. You guys are young. If you start now, it's easy. Quick math. If you invest $500 a month, every month for 30 years, you guys have 30 years. That money will grow to $1.2 million. $1.2 million. You get to my age, you start investing, it's going to take a little bit more money. You know, it's going to take, if I just start investing today, it's going to take me, instead of $500 a month, it's going to take me about $1,300 a month to get $1.1 million by the time I retire. So you guys are young. You're young. You're young. Start early. Albert Einstein said compounding interest is the 8th wonder of the world. And I just made this up like this week. My children in the audience don't even know about this. But first time I'm actually sharing this. I was trying to think of a concept on how to teach my grandkids. I have 2 grandkids in the audience right here. I have 8 grandkids total. My son is busy. He has 6 kids by himself. I think I'm gonna start. I think I'm gonna change his name on my phone to Nick Cannon. Yeah, 6 kids. On the count of 3, everybody say, "Dude, slow down. 1, 2, 3. Slow down." But I'm trying to teach my kids the concept of compound interest. So I came up with this noble idea. I went and got $2 bills. The reason I did a $2 bill is because they're very unique. Not a whole lot of people have them. You can start with $1, you can start with 50 cents, you can start with $5, whatever you want to. But what I'm going to do this year, I'm going to give each of my grandchildren a $2 bill, each and every one of them. And I'm going to tell them, if you save this for a year, next year, New Year's, I'm going to trade you this $2 bill for a $5 bill. Okay? Then I'm going to tell them, if you save that $5 bill for a year, I'm going to trade you that $5 bill for a $10 bill. And I'm going to tell them, if you save that $10 bill for a year, I'm going to trade you that $10 bill for a $20 bill. Then I'm going to tell them, if you save that $10 bill for a year, was that the 10 already? Y'all know where I'm going. I'm going to trade you the $10 for $20. Then the $20 for $100. That's teaching them the concept of compound interest and how you build wealth. Some of them are not going to do it. Some of them are going to spend this $2. But the one that does it, they're going to be successful, and they're going to learn the concept of compound interest and things of that nature. And that's pretty much the end of my talk. Thank you guys for being here. You want me to take questions now or later? Okay. So I will be here to take individual questions if you shall have some. Again, thank you a lot for your time. Hopefully, my life experience gave you some hope, gave you some information that's going to help you get a grip on your money, get a grip on your life. I'm Damon Carr.